Okay, so the prelims. Yo, good fights on these prelims, man. Right? It is oftentimes so freaking difficult to kind of, make these predictions because it's a hair's width that can separate people. But that is the fun of it too. That is the fun of it too, people. So we have got, I think it's 7 fights on the prelims. We start off with the strawweights, right? I mean, obviously, that's the females, right? I don't think I even have to. If I say strawweights, I don't know if I even have to say it's the females. You know what I mean? But we got the females doing their things, which is that's always fun, right? So we start things off. McLean against Melissa Martinez. Martinez is 27. She's 5'2", 66-inch reach, right? Super Melly. She is 8-1 overall, coming in off of a win. Right. So she's 1-1 in the UFC. Her last fight was a victory over Alice Ardaline, and that was October 2024. She lost her debut to Alessi Reed. That was September 2022. So there have been gaps in her career for whatever reason. It's usually injury, right? All of that irritation. But, it's not such a huge gap this time around, though we're getting close to a year, you know what I mean? But, yeah, Super Mally, right? She's, her last 2 fights have gone the distance. Her last stoppage was April 2019 against Caroline Gallardo, second round stoppage. She got a first round stoppage before that against Francis Hernandez. So yeah, she does have some stoppages earlier on in her career, right? Which is, you can go, oh, that shows that they've got that power or the ability to, put a kick together. She has a head kick finish, right? So you've got the ability to do that. Now, that sometimes is, right, as with this, it's on the regional scene. So it then depends on the quality of the opponent. Right? And when people are early on in their career, they make silly mistakes, right? Forget to keep the guard up, rush in. So there's also that. And as you go on in your career, it's harder, right? It's harder to get those finishes unless you do have that lights out power. Now, she is going up against the Archangel, right? Fatima Klein, who, is great. She's 24, 5'6", 67-inch reach. So an inch advantage for Fatima. She's 7-1, coming off a win. These ladies are very well matched, there's not a lot stat-wise in it. Now, Fatima, she is also 1-1 in the UFC, right? She also lost her debut. That was against Jasmine Jastovicius, but that was upper weight class and on super short notice, right? Super short notice. And she, she clearly was a smaller fighter in there, but showed heart, stayed in the fight. Had some moments, but it wasn't really, but you know, she showed a lot of heart. And then last time she did her thing, right? She fought in January and she stopped Victoria Dudakova elbows in the second. And that's when we got to see what the Archangel is really like. And that's vicious as a motherfucker. That's what that is, people. Vicious as a motherfucker, right? Which is great. Now, I know Fatima from her jiu-jitsu, right? She's competed on EDI, Medusa, like all the big tournaments and that she's been a part of, and she is good. Oh my God, she is very fucking good. I think she trains with Erin Blanchfield. I think that's correct. You know what I mean? But yeah, she's finished fights over in CFFC via finish, right? So she's got finishes, she's got submissions. Yeah, she's well-rounded, really. You know what I mean? If as long as she's not coming up against someone significantly bigger than her, it's all good. She does also have a submission win over Vanessa Demopoulos, right? That was over in Medusa. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going with Fatima for the win here. You know? Because, yeah, Fatima's just that good. She's just that good. Right? So now we move to the lightweight division. We have Mitch Ramirez against Mike Davis, which is fight. Right? So the fight stalker. I mean, Mitch. You might need to work on the nickname because the fight stalker is just kind of odd. That's an odd fucking name, right? Anyway, Mitch is 32, 5'11", 71-inch reach. He's 8-2 in his career, coming off a loss, right, which was his UFC debut. That was against Thiago Moises in March 2024. It was leg kicks in the third. Whew. And leg kicks are just vicious, right? His last win was LFA, right? In December 2023, beat Aaron Tarares, first round stoppage. He fought Carlos Prates on the Contender Series, lost that, but it's Carlos Prates, you know what I mean? So it's just like, hey, you know what I mean? The fact he lasted, went into the second round is a big one, But Mitch, he's got submissions, right? He's got knockouts, So he can, finish a fight for sure. He's going up against Beast Boy Mike Davis. He's 32 as well, 6 foot, 72.5-inch reach. He's 11-3 in his career. He's also coming off of a loss. Right, he is 4-2 in the UFC. And he also, went on the Contender Series, right? So, man, I lost this because his last fight was in February this year against Faris Zayam. And I remember this fight because I've picked Mike to win, and Faris was just on phenomenal form. Oh my God, he looked so friggin' good. Right before that loss, Mike had put together a nice little run. Like, he lost his UFC debut, got choked out by Gilbert Burns in the second round. It's Gilbert Burns, you know what I mean? But then he beat Thomas Gifford, Mason Jones, which was a very good win, and Vishalaj Borshavov, right? Santa, like Slava Claus, right? He beat him. And then Nathan Levy, though, got some really good wins, you know? Yeah, one was a knockout, Thomas Gifford, and the Nathan Levy was a arm triangle. You know, so he's got different ways in which he can win a fight, right? Outside the UFC's last fight, he won by Kimura, you know? So he's got those skills, right? Got those skills, can finish people. And I think having that variety, right? Having that variety and also, like, you know, the fact that he fought in February, I think that is a good, you know, that's him. Because Ramirez, his last fight was in March 2024. So he may have had an injury, something like that, but that's still going to be, you know, it's not the best, but it's going to impact your training and all of this kind of stuff. So I'm going to go with Beast Boy to get the win. I think they're well matched, so it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, I'm going Beast Boy, people. I'm going Beast Boy. So next up, we have got the heavyweight. Woo! The heavyweight. I think this is the first of 3 heavyweight clashes on the card, right? We have got Kennedy Ncheku against Walter Walker. Whew. So another guy with a terrible nickname, right? Walter Walker, the Clean Monster. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, what is that? What's that saying? Right, Walter is 27. He's 6'6", 78.5-inch reach. He's 13-1 on a 2-fight win streak, right? And as most people probably know by now, he is Johnny Walker's brother, right? He's 2-1 in the UFC. You know, lost his debut to Lucas Bresky, but then came back, getting back-to-back heel hooks, right? In round 1, both Junior Taffa in August 2024 and Dontel Mays in February 2025 this year. You know, back-to-back heel hooks is kind of crazy, especially for the heavyweights, right? Especially for the heavyweights. And yeah, you know, he's been doing his thing on the regional. He's had plenty of stoppages, ground and pound, all of that stuff, right? So he does have skills. He can be a bit ploddy, right? A bit predictable. And I think he definitely needs to be on his game because he's going up against African Savage Kennedy Ncheku, who is, man, he's a bad motherfucker, right? He's a bad motherfucker. He's 33, 6'5", 83-inch reach. He's 14-5, and at the moment he's on a 2-fight win streak. You know, he's 8-5 in the UFC. Came via the Contender Series. So he beat Lucas Bresky in December 2024 And a few months before that, in October, he beat Chris Barnett. Right? Both first round stoppages. Yeah. And that was after he made the move up to heavyweight. Was that the heavyweight move? I think that was just after moving up to heavyweight. But yeah, I mean, he's looked good. He's definitely looked good. And when Kennedy is on, he's a problem, right? He's definitely a problem. And for Kennedy, sometimes it is definitely the confidence thing. And I think having those, like moving up, having those big wins, that's going to do a lot for his confidence. So I'm taking Kennedy for the win here. So we have another ladies fight on the card. This time, people, we move to the flyweights. We've got Lauren Murphy against Edouard Mura. So, yeah, Edouard Mura, aka Ronda. She's 31, 5'6", 66-inch reach. She's 11-1 in her career, coming off of a win in her last fight. Right, so she's 2-1 in the UFC, came via the Contender Series. She won her debut. Right, won her debut. Did miss weight though. Right, beat Montserrat Ruiz, ground and pound in the second. That was November 2023. And then she lost to Denise Gomez, missed weight again, which not great, right? Definitely not great. Last time out though, she beat Veronica Hardy via decision. That was November 2024, and she made weight for that one. So that is, yeah, it was good that she did that, you know, because, yeah, we can't be missing weight all the time. That's kind of crazy, you know. I think, though, those first two fights were at strawweight, right? They were at strawweight, so now, yeah, she's moved up, and she's going up against Lauren Murphy. So that's an interesting one, right? She got a rear naked choke to, you know, get into UFC via the Contender Series. She's had, I mean, rear naked does seem like it's her submission, right? She's had some ground and pound wins, you know, but I think most of the time her finishes have come via submission, a choke. She will definitely need those skills as she goes up against lucky Lauren Murphy, who 41, 5'5", 68-inch reach, right? She's 16-6 overall, coming off a loss in her last fight, right? She's 8-6 in the UFC, right? She went 3-0 in Invicta, and I believe she did win the belt, right? So last time out, she lost to Jessica Andrade. That was January 2023, and to be honest, I thought she had retired, you know? So I was surprised to see her on this card. I don't know if she did retire and then decided to come back, because I thought she did retire in her last fight. But, you know, she's had some good wins, right? She beat Miesha Tate, right? She beat JoJo Calderwood, aka JoJo Wood. Right? She beat Lila Shakarova, Roxanne Modafari, Andrea Lee, right? Decent wins. Barb Hornacek, who was at one time considered the best in the weight class, right? She has got some very good wins. Beat Caitlin Chagorian, aka Caitlin Kamara, right? All of these. No, actually, she lost to Caitlin. My bad. But she's had those fights, right? So yeah, she's been doing it for a while. She is, a vet in the game, we should say. I remember her last fight in friggin' Invicta, right? It was a win over Miriam Nakamoto. Because Miriam was so fucking good, but she just fucked her knee up. Oh man, it was so sad. But she was looking very good and she just, her knee went. So she had to, forfeit the fight. But yeah, that was sad. Anyway. Yeah, Lauren, man, she's wily, right? She knows how to win. She does have submissions, right? She does have submissions, but I think her key is having that ability to kind of make people fight at her pace, right? Dictate what happens in that fight, right? She's been able to do that in her career. Now, if she's going to be able to do that against the, the younger opposition, Miura, I'm not quite sure. Right? And especially with the big gap, right? Her not fighting since 2023. I think I'm going Eduardo Mora for the win here. It's definitely one of those ones where it kind of depends on what Murphy looks like on the day. But yeah, I'm going Mora for the win. So we then have the welterweights, right? It's the first of 3 fights. And we have Jake Matthews against Chidi Unchakeki. Boy, I am really looking forward to this fight. Oh, this is a friggin' fantastic fight, people. It is. Right? So, Chidi, Chidi Bang Bang, he is 36, 6'3", 80-inch reach. He's 25-10 with 1 no contest on a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC. Right? He is 5-3. Which isn't, it's not too bad. Came via the Contender Series. So he beat Alessu Zaleski last time out, March 2025. Second round stoppage, knees and elbows. He did miss weight. Right? I think it was like half a pound or a pound. But, missing weight is missing weight. Before that, he beat Jared Gordon and Reese McKee. The Reese McKee was split, though he won that fight. I don't believe that was a split decision, you know what I mean? He did have a bit of a rough skid, like Gregory Rodriguez. Although, Gregory is a monster, and we've definitely seen that lately. But Chidi was winning that fight, right? And it just all fell apart. And that we kind of saw that against Albert Durev and Mikhail Olazejczyk, where he's winning and then it slipped. But as I say, he's put together this 3-fight win streak, and I think those first couple of fights you could see a little reticence in him, right? I don't know whether it was just he was worried about the gas tank or something. But in that last fight, we did see him, more of his older self, right? Putting it together well for that devastating finish. And, he can do it. Like, he beat Marc-Andre Barriault, frigging really well, first round stoppage. So Chitty's got skills, right? He's definitely got skills and can knock you out. He is going up against the Celtic Kid, Jake Matthews. Right, Jake is 35, 11, 73-inch reach. He's 21-7, and he's on a 2-fight win streak himself right now. Right, so he's 14-7 in the UFC, which seems crazy because you go, has he been there that long? Right, and he has. So he fought last time in February 2025, beat Francisco Prado. And June 2024 beat Phil Rowe. Both went the distance, got unanimous decisions. Right, he lost a unanimous decision to Michael Morales, which, getting the distance with Michael Morales is definitely something, right? Beat Darius Flower, rear naked choke. Lost to Matthew Semenberg. So he has got some good wins. There's a few fights where you feel he should have won, but he didn't. But it does look like he's putting it back together. So, that's interesting, right? He's got that finishing ability, right? He's got some subs. He's got some knockouts. So, Jay can get things done, and he's got the fight experience, right? To have that comfortability in the octagon. He does have that. Now, he is definitely hittable, right? He's definitely hittable, and I think Chidi has got the advantage most definitely when it comes to power. Now, I think the big thing in this fight is is conservation, right? So, Chidi can knock him out. But if he goes out too fast, right, and gasses himself, then I think Jake can definitely dominate, smother him on the ground, and get the win. But as I said, I feel we've seen a more mature and seasoned Chidi in his last 3 fights. Right? So I'm taking Chidi for the win. It's gonna be a good one, and I think it will definitely tell us this fight where Chidi is, right? If he can start making a run, I think this is where it starts. Right? This is where it starts for sure. So the last fight on the prelims, we're staying with the welterweights. We got Max Griffin against Chris Curtis. People, this is a good one as well to pick, right? Max, he is 13. 5'11", 76-inch reach. He's 20-11 overall, coming off a loss in his last fight. Right, he's 8-9 in the UFC. So last time out, he lost to Michael Chiesa, who was a rear naked in that 3rd round. Beat Jeremiah Walls before that. Lost to Michael Morales, beat Tim Means, lost to Neil Magny. It's been a little up and down, but Max has got oh man, Max has got real skills, and he's been in there with some really good freaking fighters, right? Sonia Don, Carlos Condon, Alex Moreno, Alex Oliveira, Thiago Alvarez, Curtis Millender, Mike Perry, and he's been in there. Kobe Covington, which was his UFC debut, right? Definitely not an easy fight for your debut. As I say, Neil Magny, Tim Means, Michael Morales, right? Michael Chiesa, all tough fights, and fights, which are very different. Some standing, some grappling, you know what I mean? He's had all of that to go up again. Tonight he's looking across at Chris Action Man Curtis. He's 37, 5'10", 75.5-inch reach. He's 31-12 with 1 no contest. Now Chris had a bit of a rough patch. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's 5-4 in the UFC. But last time he fought Roman Kopylov, right? And Brendan Allen. Very tough fights. The Allen fight, it was very close. It went to a split, right? The Kopylov fight, got caught with a head kick in the last round. Man, that was January 2025, right? And the Allen fight was April 2024. He beat Marc-Andre Barrier. Had a no contest with Nadazim Imavev. Right? I think that was an eye poke or something like that stopped that fight. Lost to Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum was just on point that night. Beat Joaquin Buckley. You know what I mean? And we see what Joaquin has been doing recently. Not the last fight, but up to that point. Had a huge win over Rodolfo Vieira. Curtis has been, he's been there with so many good fighters, right? So many good fighters Curtis has been in there. I think with him, definitely confidence as well. It's definitely a thing. But he trains with Sean Strickland. He trains, with some really good fighters. He's very skilled. I think he does roll with punches well, right? Having the ability to go to the ground is a big one. I think I'm going to go with Curtis. But this fight, man, this was such a tough one. Such a tough one to predict. Because literally, man, it's a hair's width, right? Literally. But what a fight to lead us into that main card. Fan-frigging-tastic, people. Frigging-tastic. Right? So, that's our prelims.